Good afternoon. This is JoyNews Today. In the headlines, Trades Union Congress prepare for a shutdown with government as they develop an action plan to tackle Galamsey after touring water treatment plants and Galamsey endemic areas. We have details as leaders of organized labor trade blames on which unions may have broken their fronts after the botched industrial action over Galamsey last year. Also, residents of Krobo in the eastern region are fed up with neglect of the bad roads as they pour on the streets in protest to demand immediate government action. We're live in the area for more. Also, the minority in Parliament has just launched a blistering attack on government, demanding the immediate payment of salaries owed to thousands of nurses and midwives across the country, despite the health minister's assurance to settle all arrears in November. We'll be live to that news conference for more. Education Minister hints at downgrading 10 Category A schools and upgrading 10 Category B schools in an attempt to address placement challenges. These and more in our 60 Minutes package. JoyNews, independent, fearless, credible. Please stay. Welcome back. The National Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association is spearheading efforts to rid tributaries of the River Offin of illegal mining operations. The exercise involves the destruction of illegal mining equipment floating on various tributaries of major rivers in the country. The Ahafo-Ano Southwest District of the Ashanti region was the first area of focus by the task force. Nanaya Ojima has more on the following report.
At Nyamedomso Camp, a farming community near Mankanso, illegal miners had taken over the River Mankan for their mining activities. Here, illegal miners mounted washing points with their waste directed into the river. Shamfan boats, engine-powered platforms used in mining on water, floated on the river. The River Mankan is the only source of drinking water for the Nyamedomso community. The river, which flows into the Offin, a major source of drinking water for Kumasi and its environs, is heavily polluted, threatening the quality and lifespan of the water source. Residents, though worried about the situation, have made little efforts to halt the activity.
Recently, I called on the district chief executive to help us deal with the situation. He did, but the people returned. So we need lots of hands to help us.
The task force proceeded to destroy Shamfan boats and washing equipment mounted on the banks of the river. The illegal operators took to their heels, abandoning all their belongings. The district chief executive for Ahafo-Ano Southwest, Abubakar Siddiq, commended the task force of the National Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association for supporting the government's fight against illegal mining.
Personally, I was there, that was last 3 weeks. I stopped them. I even asked my task force to go and destroy their machines, but still, I just don't know why. But from tomorrow, we'll still go there to see if they are still there.
Meanwhile, the task force has expressed preparedness to sustain efforts to sustain the fight against illegal mining. Bresi Ando is leader of the task force.
We are starting from Mankranso.
We are beginning from Mankranso. We are clearing the tributaries of the Offin River to help the government's task force.
According to leadership of the group, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is aware of the operation. President of the association, Michael Kwajopepa, explains that their operations are self-policing mechanism to whip members in line and clear all illegal activities on rivers in mining communities. For JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
Ghana's fight to salvage its threatened indigenous tree species continues to face major setbacks as tree conservationists battle the growing impacts of illegal mining operations and indiscriminate farming activities. At least 4 indigenous trees are going extinct, with 39 others currently threatened by the unabated operations of illegal miners. Now, foresters are distraught over the spate of encroachment on forest reserves, harboring these unique plant species that offer medicinal, ecological and economic benefits to the country. Stephanie Frimpong joined the second National Stakeholders Workshop on Threatened Trees Conservation and filed this report.
Globally, at least 8,000 out of the 60,000 documented plant species have been classified to be endangered by human activities. With growing environmental destruction through illegal mining and logging and the fast expansion of agricultural activities, 4 of Ghana's indigenous tree species are critically threatened, with 39 currently endangered. At the second National Stakeholders Workshop on Threatened Trees Conservation, researchers, foresters and policymakers renewed calls for a concerted action to save the trees. Project coordinator Dr. James Amponsa highlighted the impact of the illegal activities on the endangered species despite conservatory projects to protect forest reserves and rare tree species.
The second National Stakeholders Workshop on Threatened Trees is basically aimed at bringing together experts in the forest conservation industry to track progress, to also think of future actions to ensure that our conservation actions could be more coordinated and well monitored. And so the objective for the role FORIC played was to, one, ensure that we bring together all partners to discuss issues. And then we also have a special objective of raising seedlings of threatened trees and supplying them to partner organizations so that their future could be secure. And at the moment, FORIC is also developing an information data portal on threatened trees. So this portal, which will be launched at this workshop, will help us bring a lot of information on threatened trees so that it can guide actions and help us collaborate effective conservation actions.
Representing the project's donor, Olivia Hasivier of Foundation Franklinia in Switzerland extolled Ghana's conservation model, describing it as a benchmark for other African countries.
So there is more than 60,000 tree species known and described worldwide. So it's a very important taxonomic group within biodiversity, and trees are really pillars of the ecosystems. They are what we call keystone species. They are structuring the ecosystem, and when you want to conserve threatened tree species, you know that there will be a lot of what we call collateral benefits. So many species depend on the trees, the monkeys, the birds, the insects, the pollinators. So basically, if you conserve threatened tree species and the tree species in general, you can be sure that you will do something very positive for the whole biodiversity, for nature as a whole.
Director of Science, Technology and Innovation at the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Kwame Nakwesin reaffirmed Ghana's commitment to protecting its forests through policy and collaboration.
Some aspects of the responsibility resides with the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology. And then you also want to mention the name of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources with its agency, the Forest Commission. And, for us, in the Environment, Science and Technology space, we have ensured that there is a strong national environment policy that brings all sectors on board.
The National President of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Senior High Schools, Reverend Father Stephen Owusu-Sechere, has revealed a devastating toll of illegal mining on education in affected areas. He disclosed that in Galamsey-prone communities like Manso in the Ashanti region, students delay their return to school by weeks and months. Some schools are also deserted as results of encroachment by illegal miners. This canker, Reverend Father Stephen asserts, is fueling indiscipline as some students return defiant to school rules. Take a listen to him.
I don't want to put those schools here, but the fact is that we have students who are involved in Galamsey. The various schools in the Galamsey areas, you know the areas I'm talking about. So you can go to the Manso area and all those places where Galamsey is really going on. School reopens and students from the headmasters, headmistresses, school reopens and students really don't come to school early. Some of them will come to school after a month. Some of them will come to after 2 months. And the kind of indiscipline they also exhibit in schools is very alarming. In some areas, Galamsey is also encroaching on school lands here and there. So we deemed it as a concern, and we needed to talk about it so that authorities would do something about it for us, so that the future of these youth will be secured. Some of them also travel far away to various schools in the country. Because of the Galamsey, some of them are involved anyway, so they take long in coming. And because of what they do and the lifestyle over there, they come to school, and some of them are doing drugs, and the drugs that they do really destroying their lives. So we see it as a very serious concern. Because, if you put students in school, and then because some of them are involved in Galamsey, they are not really come to school, it makes teacher learning a bit very difficult. The teacher will be there, students aren't coming. So teacher learning will never happen, and it will affect learning outcomes. So we have to really do something about it.
And based on what you just said, as we have to do something about it, what are your expectations of government in this situation? Now, we've had people, for example, call for a state of emergency. Is that something that Charles is supporting?
If the government sees that to be very something that is very important to do, why not? They should go ahead and do it, because we have to secure the future of this country. We cannot allow Galamsey to destroy us. Galamsey is really destroying a whole lot of things in this country. So as conference, we also thought it wise to add our voice to the authorities to do something about it in a very urgent manner.
Well, this afternoon, the Trades Union Congress, TUC, is gearing up for a fierce battle against government over the Galamsey menace. In a strategic move, the TUC will hold an internal stakeholders meeting to craft an action plan to pressure the government into taking concrete actions. This development comes on the heels of a recent tour to water treatment plants in Galamsey endemic areas, which exposed the severity of the crisis. Deputy TUC Secretary General Dr. Kwabena Nyakun Otu has hinted at a different strategy from last year's failed industrial action. He says the TUC is determined to hold the government accountable for its promise to tackle Galamsey.
So a number of people in the forest where River Offin takes a source, actually mining. And what we saw are the experiences of people telling us that we shouldn't go further because our security will be at risk.
Even after the assurances we received from the president?
Exactly. We never saw the blue water gas. What we saw actually, and we have photos, we have recordings of what we saw. Okay. What we saw is the fact that today in Chebi, the Green River, the turbidity level is about 22,000. This is for a plant that was not made to handle turbidity level above 500. So this is the experiences we have gone through. And to be straightforward with you, the TUC on this trip never announced any measures. The TUC, in the press statement read by the Secretary General, indicated that after witnessing this, what we intend to do is that the structures of the TUC will be meeting in the coming weeks. And in those weeks, we will announce the measures we think we as TUC, and here not organized labor, we as TUC must do in collaboration and with government to end the illegal mining.
Meanwhile, some leaders of several unions have traded blame on what broke the front of organized labor after a botched industrial action plan last year to demand action on Galamsey. Vice President of TUC, University of Education, Wedeba, Dr. Bernard Tutu Boahene, blamed the TUC.
We had joined them. What happened was that TUC was going to have a meeting, that's what I mean by the betrayal, with other union members without informing UTAG initially. So we got wind of that meeting and then we made certain calls. I think it was through Professor Jampo, and then they now said that yes, the meeting is coming up, so we should go. Ideally, the national president for UTAG was supposed to have been there, but because at that time we were housed at UDS Tamale, so he couldn't have flown from that time within that short period. So Professor Jampo and then one other, I think the secretary for University of Ghana, went for that meeting. Now in that meeting, according to the report that we had, you understand, I am basing my reports or what I'm saying based on the report that was given to us. So according to the people that we delegated, the national president delegated, that is Professor Jampo and Jerry, it came out clear that TUC leadership had probably agreed on what they wanted to say on that day. And so they were not even given that chance and opportunity to put their views in there.
Well, in a sharp rebuttal, Deputy TUC Secretary General Dr. Kwabena Nyako described those claims as baseless.
Let me indicate that the allegation that the TUC betrayed UTAG and for that matter, the arrest of organized labor is a baseless allegation. It has no merit. What really happened in 2024 was that, Galamsey unions have what we call core issues. So core issues like things to do with wages, salaries, working conditions, benefits. And from our own experience, it is always easy to get unity of unions and workers around those core issues. But when it comes to a non-core issue like Galamsey, and I say non-core because that is not what unions are formed to fight for, even though it is an important and essential problem. But it is not core to what we do as union. When it comes to those issues, it's always difficult to maintain the unity of unions and also of workers around those issues. And clearly in 2024, this is what played out. The unity question was clear, or we were not united on the issues.
But Secretary General of the Ghana Federation of Labour, Abraham Kumsin, blamed the Ghana Medical Association and the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association as the unions that acted in a way that betrayed the collective goal of organized labour.
It was not the TUC that betrayed the cause.
So who did?
No, it wasn't the TUC that caused the suspension of the Nostra action. It was the Ghana Medical Association and then the next.
No, I'm struggling to hear you, Mr. Kumsin. If you can come again on that point, you are blaming the Ghana Medical Association and one other group. I didn't get that point clearly.
Ghana Registered Nurses Association, the nurses.
The nurses.
And the Ghana Medical Association.
So
see, what you want to embark on such action, you are saying it's a very powerful weapon, and if the weapon is not well maintained, it cannot fight.
Well, residents of Krobo in the eastern region have taken to the streets to express their frustration and disappointment over the deplorable state of their roads, which they claim have been neglected by government. The protesters attribute the stalled progress on the road project to the change in government, leaving them to suffer the consequences. Some of them share their concerns about the poor road conditions, citing difficulties in accessing basic amenities, increased transportation costs, and risk to their health and safety.
Stores bebre na wakwa no wa yanyeye bebre so wo ha ya close na ahanso na aduane ya kase Ghana omo hwe Ghana so bia ya krom ha wo penifo bebre.
A citizen of Europe. Now the reason why my joining this demonstration is it's a hard time governments of the day. When I talk of government, I want to chairman one more by one guy somebody a fine way elbow game. Why am I saying that? Me with me a businessman. I've locked my store. Ya pa wan ka metro baba ko yenim ye do wa metro mo because e kwan no nya no nti e futuo untimi bie. Sesi a geographic location here in the municipality here both Filo and Manya yare a high and kase e typhoid. We no nyina ye nim ya e typhoid ever. The question is NDC MPP. Boni be na Krobo for ya then from 2014 to date, woman ntimi wie e kwan we e ma ye. Ye wo ho na NDC by 2016. Fine. When they left office, the machines vanished.
Well, let's get the very latest on the grounds with our correspondent Kwame Yanka, who has been covering that demonstration. Kwame, so bring us to speed. What's happening now at Krobo?
Mamesi, the protest has ended, and as I speak to you, they have presented their petition to the chief executive officer of the area in the person of John Mattei. They are actually giving him the next 60 days to get the work going, as it were, because they can no longer wait. Their patience has been exhausted enough, and they believe it's time to act and no more talks.
So if that 60 days are up and the road is not fixed, what then would they do?
Well, they are saying there are a number of civil activities available to them. They can deploy to ensure that their concerns are actually addressed. They feel both parties, in the name of NPP and NDC, have kind of toyed with their patience, their quietness, and they're just pushing for this stretch to be fixed. About 11 kilometers, they say, has not yielded any results. So they believe the government has next 60 days to address these concerns raised.
Were there any assurances from the government official in the area?
Sure. Okay, so the municipal chief executive for Lower Manya Krobo, in the person of John Mattei, assured them that, well, yeah, it's been addressed to the president through him, and he will do the needful to ensure that whatever challenge they have with the road are addressed, just to ensure that the area doesn't suffer any business or health challenges as a result of this deplorable nature of the road.
All right. Thank you so much, Kwame Yanka, giving us updates from Krobo on their road situation. Now, Education Minister Haruna Idrisu has hinted at plans to restructure the classification of senior high schools across the country to tackle persistent challenges with the computerized school selection and placement system. The initiative, he said, will see 10 Category A schools downgraded to Category B status and another 10 Category B schools upgraded to Category A, backed by extensive infrastructure investment to ensure fairness and balance in school placement. He's been speaking at a news conference in Accra.
The Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service is working diligently in a manner which is open, transparent, and accountable. But we do accept that there is a challenge. When you have vacancies of 76,000 and you have applicants desiring to fill 76,000 with 393,000, you definitely will have a difficulty and struggle as I'm struggling. It could be any of you sitting here as Minister for Education. How can you fill 76,000 vacancies with 393 qualified applicants? That's a near impossibility. So we are doing our best. Category A, Category B, Category C, justifiably, every parent wants a child to be in a Category A school. But we haven't. In the last month, we haven't expanded infrastructure at any Category A school to have done the magic for us. My thinking, in order that we respect equity, will be that into 2026, and I've had consultations and discussions with the President, I have his support and blessing, is to convert at least 10 category schools to Category B schools. Then convert 10 Category B schools to Category A schools. And that will be backing it with infrastructure, with available classroom blocks, dormitories for students, and quality improvement by way of improved teaching, and then learning materials and learning aids.
Well, my colleague Collins Rimpo is there for us and joins us with more on this. Collins, so what more details did he give about the recategorization plans? The schools he's talking about made known to the media?
Not yet. At this point, we don't know the schools that they plan to extend the categorization system to. But what we know is that the minister has mentioned that he has identified 4 regions that they do not have any category school, and these are East, Savannah, and Mexico. So it's a budget that they
Collins, I'm struggling to hear you. Can you reposition yourself?
I am that stated or that they would identify things that if they don't have category school and Savannah would be and so that to budget so that.
Unfortunately, we are not able to hear Collins very well. But Haruna Idrisu further announced that Cabinet has given the approval to absorb and back pay all outstanding salaries for 6,200 unpaid teachers.
A few weeks ago, myself and Chief Director received a petition from some teachers who are unhappy with the government over their unending. They've worked for a number of months without pay. I'm happy to announce that Cabinet has given approval for the 6,200 teachers to be absolved. We'll begin the process in due course. They will have their IDs, but as I assured them, they will get back pay. But you see, having demonstrated and pelted stones, I said they have to pay for the stones because we will give them back pay. But for their conduct, what do we get in return? How that they didn't disrupt any academic work. So those 6,200 teachers, I think I can speak for both ministries in this matter. Cabinet gave the Minister of Finance approval to via budget and spend upon about 1.1 billion Ghana cedis to absorb a category of health workers and teachers.
Parliament has launched a blistering attack on government, demanding the immediate payment of salaries owed to thousands of nurses and midwives across the country. Addressing the press a while ago, the minority accused government, the NDC, governing government, of drowning public administration in politics and deception while health workers languish without pay. The minority's ranking member on health, Dr. Nana Afriye AU, branded the government's delay as deliberate and cruel, revealing documents dated April 15, 2024 and signed by then Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Abnose Asari. The letter, he said, explicitly authorized payments to the recruited health workers under the 2024 budget. Let's go live now to my colleague, Kenneth Chisi. Kenneth, what's the latest? What can you report?
Yes, so according to the minority, the affected health workers were recruited under a valid financial clearance issued somewhere in July of last year, and they say the process guaranteed the availability of funds before employment. They've been arguing that the Ministry of Finance's current justification that cabinet approval is needed before payment is both unnecessary and politically motivated. Well, they've been explaining that under the terms of the financial clearance, about 8,000 nurses and midwives were successfully placed in health institutions such as teaching hospitals and faith-based facilities, leaving about 6,000 others whose postings were delayed by the Ghana Health Service. So the minority blames the service for dragging its feet, saying that the clearance was valid until the 1st of December 2024, giving them ample time for recruitment and payment.
Thank you very much for that update, Kenneth Chesi. Now, the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency, HEFRA, has shut down 2 unlicensed eye test clinics in Kumasi for operating illegally while providing medical screening services to the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA. According to HEFRA officials, the 2 facilities located near the DVLA office at Oforikrom were found to be operating without valid licenses and were not registered under the agency's regulatory framework. The closure forms part of HEFRA's ongoing nationwide compliance exercise aimed at ensuring that all health facilities meet the required standards of operation. Let's cross over to the Ashanti region and speak to Nana Boachi Yadom. Nana, what's been the response from the DVLA on the matter?
They've been providing eye test services to DVLA clients, and for their offense is that this is an unlicensed facility, means that they're operating illegally without HEFRA's notice. But today the task force has made its way here and they are going to shut down the place. When we came in, we saw that a worker was in there, possibly the owner of the facility, who has been confronted by HEFRA, the HEFRA task force. What has to be done now is that everything must be moved out for the facility to be closed. The issue is that this is an unlicensed facility, makes its operations illegal. Let's get closer and see what happens in here. Can we go inside and see what happens inside the facility? So this is the eye center that has been caught up this morning by HEFRA. The task force provides eye testing services to DVLA in the Ashanti region. The machines, everything is set over here. But the problem is that this facility is unknown to HEFRA. HEFRA says that it has not registered this facility at all. So at the moment, the facility would have to be closed down. So the task force with their keys and everything would shut down this facility until the right thing is done.
President John Mahama has disclosed that Ghana and China are finalizing a zero-tariff agreement expected to be concluded by the end of this month. This will ensure that goods of Ghanaian origin entering China will not attract import duties. Speaking at a presidential investment forum in Beijing, President Mahama confirmed that both countries have reached an understanding towards the implementation of the agreement. China says the extension of its zero-tariff policy to all African nations, including Ghana, is aimed at strengthening diplomatic and economic cooperation, boosting Africa's economy, and helping the continent negotiate fairer trade terms globally. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba has more on the following report.
President John Mahama began the second day of his state visits to China with bilateral discussions with Chinese President Xi Jinping. President Mahama expressed concern over the rise of unilateralism in global affairs, warning that it threatens multilateral cooperation. He urged nations that believe in multilateralism to stand in solidarity with one another. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Blakwa said President Xi expressed confidence in President Mahama's leadership to protect Chinese investments and businesses in Ghana.
Since assuming the presidency, he is fixing all the problems he inherited. He's fixed the economy. He will give you the details of that. He's fixed education. He's fixed healthcare. He's fixing infrastructure. And only a few days ago, he's also fixed our football. Ghana has qualified for the World Cup.
Later, President Mahama hosted a presidential investment forum that brought together Chinese and Ghanaian business leaders. He revealed that Ghana and China are set to conclude a zero-tariff agreement by the end of this month.
Between 2020 and 2024, China's exports to Ghana rose by nearly 46%, while Ghana's exports to China increased by over 11%. China's decision to grant zero-tariff access to Ghanaian and African products signals the confidence in our partnership. It opens vast new markets for Ghanaian exporters, agro-processors, and manufacturers. And I'm happy to inform you that we reached agreement in principle, and we have targeted the end of October to be able to sign off on the zero-tariff principle.
You're still watching JoyNews Today. We'll take a break. We'll return with more.
Welcome back to Business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. Finance Minister Dr. Telecel Forson is expected to engage development partners, donors, creditors, and investors in Washington, D.C. this week. He's leading Ghana delegation to the annual meetings of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund as part of ongoing effort to strengthen international cooperation and support for Ghana's economic recovery. Judge Yafe has more in this report.
Call it the biggest gathering of all those who matter in the finance, monetary, and governance space, and you might not be wrong. The annual IMF World Bank meetings, which formally opens in Washington, D.C., USA today, bringing together all those who matter in the financial space to deliberate on how to make the global financial system safe and benefit all. But for Ghana's Finance Minister, Dr. Forson, who is leading Ghana's delegation to this meeting, including Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, this meeting couldn't have come at a better time, looking at developments in Ghana's economy, including reaching a staff-level agreement with the IMF, possible conclusion of Ghana's program with the IMF in May next year, and an upgrade of Ghana's credit ratings. Over the course of the week, the Finance Minister, Dr. Forson, is expected to use this year's meetings to deepen strategic partnerships.
Away from that, Telecel Ghana has rewarded a loyal customer with a life-transforming grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. This cash prize is an initiative under the company's Too Much Money promotion launched to appreciate and empower customers across the country. Here's more.
Telecel Ghana has crowned Samuel Yao Esel, a 52-year-old former banker and Reverend Minister, as the winner of the grand prize of its Too Much Money promotion launched in June this year. The lucky winner walked away with a whopping 1.2 million Ghana cedis after emerging top of the nationwide customer reward campaign. Speaking at the presentation ceremony, Director of Commercial Business Unit at Telecel Ghana, Annette Muga, said the initiative was designed to reward loyal customers and positively impact their lives.
I'm so excited to see the joy in our winners fest. I'm so excited to see the reaction from the crowd, and above all, I'm so excited to know that the 1.2 million is going to change someone's life, and this was the reason why we did this promo. And someone may really ask why. One reason was we wanted to give something that will change someone's life, but again, the bigger objective of this promo was to really give thank you to our customers. Telecel Ghana is growing with Ghanaians, and we wanted to give something in a bigger way, as well as which is excited. We wanted to reward loyalty and making everyday usage more meaningful.
Visibly excited, Mr. Essel expressed gratitude to Telecel Ghana and shared some of his plans for the prize money.
Telecel is not only interested in getting money from their customers, Telecel is also interested in improving the lives of their customers. And today I am a witness, a living testimony. My life has been transformed. It's like a dream that has come true, because the money is going to help me to complete my store building project, which I've stored for a number of years. I also have the microcredit business, which is begging for funds. So part of it definitely will be invested. And then my kids, they are very young. So you can imagine the number of years and how much I have to spend in terms of meeting their educational needs. So a chunk of it will be invested just to cater for their education.
Marketing Officer of the National Lottery Authority, Bright Ofori, revealed that Telecel Ghana conducted the promotion with fairness and transparency.
For about 4 months now, the NLA has been with Telecel as a supervisor to supervise and regulate the Too Much More Money promo. And so I can say on authority that from day one, every winner that has emerged from this game of chance or this draw is fairly selected.
The Too Much Money promo, according to Telecel, reflects its dedication to empowering customers and transforming lives through rewarding experiences.
Congratulations to the Reverend. It is too much money indeed for Samuel Esther, and congratulations by Telecel. That's all for business. Up next is sports.
Welcome to the sports segment with Benaya Elom Dapamapo. Former GFA Communications Director Ibrahim Sanidara has urged that players who have shown genuine commitment to play for Ghana should be invited to the 2026 World Cup. Following the Black Stars qualification after beating Comoros, debates have resurfaced about calling foreign-born players like Edin Ketia and Kalim Hassan Odoi. Dara insists that loyalty should matter as much as talent.
Is that I was a personal advocate for Kevin Prince Boateng to play for the Black Stars. I spent a lot of my time at that time. I was working at the BBC, working with the FA to ensure that he got his nationality straight. Do you realize that he never played in the AFCON qualifiers? Even when we were to play England in a friendly match and we had an away match at DR Congo, he refused to turn up for that match, but turned up to play for the friendly against England because it was glamorous. And for that reason, I think that we must now attach some level of pride and some level of love for the country if you want to play. If someone wants to play, yes, we must get our best available players for the national team, but they must pass that commitment test.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has pledged to create the right conditions for the Black Stars to excel at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Referencing Morocco's remarkable 2022 World Cup run, Mahama said the Black Stars must aim even higher this time and assure that the team will receive all the maximum support they need to perform at their best.
They've done quite well to qualify. I think that the team's morale and spirit is high. A few years back, Ghanaians were a bit, dejected in the Stars, but I can see that spirit of support for the Stars coming back. The Black Stars are one of the symbols that unite us as Ghanaians, because the support for the Black Stars cuts across political party lines, it cuts across ethnic lines, and so I believe that the opportunity to go back onto the world stage and exhibit what Ghanaians can do is something that we're looking forward to. Just recently, the University of Development Studies came to me with a trophy they had won in the World University Soccer Competition, beating no mean team like Brazil. So I believe that we should take it step by step by step, and like we almost did in South Africa, be the first country to go beyond the semi-finals and into the finals of the next World Cup. But we're happy, we're proud of the boys. I want to congratulate the management team and all those who have contributed to this success. I'm not too much into football, but the Black Stars are my #1 football team. And so anytime the Black Stars are playing, I'm anxious to see them come out victorious. Sometimes it's a bit nerve-wracking to watch, especially when the goals are not coming. And so the last time I spoke with them, I asked them whether I should eat before I watch the match or eat after I watch the match. And they say I can eat after I watch the match.
And that's it for the sports segment with me, Benaya Elom. Up next is Showbiz.
And it's time for Showbiz right here on Joy News. I am Lois Shola Adeyemi, and as always, we're bringing you the biggest stories lighting up the world of entertainment. Let's dive right into it. Now, comedians go out of their way to make us laugh, but now they're literally saving lives. Ghanaian skit maker MJ the comedian has revealed how one of his comedy videos stopped a fan who was on the verge of ending his life. The comedian shared the emotional story on Joy FM Showbiz A to Z, explaining that what started as a simple entertainment turned into a therapy for someone who had lost hope. He joins us now on Zoom to share more about that powerful moment and how comedy can go far beyond laughter. MJ, thank you for joining us. Tell us, how did you find out that one of your comedy videos actually stopped someone from taking their own lives?
Okay, first off, I'll say good afternoon to you and good afternoon everyone watching. It was a very nice story. I was just there one, I don't know, I've forgotten the day. I received a message in my DM. Usually, I pay attention to my messages in my DM. So I received a message from a follower.
Right.
I would want to meet you up for a drink, let's talk. I was like, okay, cool. So he gave me a location, we met, we spoke for long, but he didn't tell me directly the reason he had met me. He just wanted to have a chat with me. So later on, as I had gone, he sent me a message in my DM telling me the reason he really wanted to have a dinner with me was that I saved him and was at the verge of taking his life because he had a child and then child support stuff and a whole lot.
Right.
And so he had bought a drug and he had said that at that night he was just going to take it and in his sleep he would just fight, just go. But he said, well, let me just go through social media, and I came across one of my videos which actually made him laugh out loud. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me go to this guy. Came on my page, and then by the time he realized, he said, no, life is worth living than keeping yourself or committing to. So he was like really grateful to me, and that really elevated my spirit. I mean, I would say that is the highest peak of career.
Right. I was going to say that I'm sure that you're probably very excited. You think that it's just comedy, but it saved someone's life. And I want to say congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing, because I know that it's not only touching this man, but everywhere around the world we're hearing about you and we're proud of you. So congratulations. All right. And that was MJ, the comedian. Well, that's all for Showbiz. I am Lois Shola. Over to you. Have you saved someone's life before?
Not directly, but I think I've been able to talk somebody out of that. And it's really a good thing, because there's so much pressure in this country. But that's good for Showbiz Today, and that's how we wrap up today on JoyNews Today. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson.